Walmart pledges to hire any returning veteran who wants a job. Grace After Fire, a nonprofit that helps support returning veterans reacclimate to civilian life. Kim Olson from Grace After Fire. You have to like this, Grace. This have to be great, Kim. I mean, I would think Walmart's doing a great thing.
I think it's a win-win for both the veteran and Walmart. The veteran, obviously, because they get a chance to get a job, and a lot of them return to small towns, and Walmart is in small towns. And two, it's a win for Walmart because they get a great employee. Our vets know how to show up to work on time, they're disciplined, they understand safety, so it's a win-win for both.
Kim, talk about what you do with Grace After Fire. I mean, you work with returning veterans, but I think many of us, we herald and appreciate and love our veterans, but once the parade is over, there's a lot into reacclimating, isn't there?
This generation of veteran has known nothing but two conflicts, both in Iraq and Afghanistan. So if you've been in the military, there's a pretty good chance you have deployed to one of those two spots. And so it's been a tough ride on a lot of our vets because they've done multiple deployments. And as you know, the military force is only 1% of our population, so that means only 3 million of us volunteer to serve our nation. But thank goodness we have a generation that volunteers to serve us. And what a great way, again, back to Walmart, to say thanks for doing that.
Yeah. Is the reacclimation part of it most difficult when it comes to scenes they have seen, the noise they have been around, the culture they have been involved with? What's most difficult for the returning soldier?
If you go to war, you're going to be changed. War brings out the best of humanity, and it can bring out the worst. And anyone who says it doesn't impact them is not being truthful. The thing we want them to do is to move on from that, to realize that all of life is not about war. There are great things, especially the great country that we have here. So for some people, depending on their resiliency, the transition is shorter. For others, it takes them a little bit longer, again, depending on what they've seen and what's happened to them. These vets, they've been trained, they've been screened, they have courage and perseverance and commitment. So a lot of the messages we give to the vets are everything you need is inside of you. And you've survived a combat zone, and we just got to help you find that sometimes.
And so you'd think that these guys coming back would find jobs easily. Not the case?
No, actually, our unemployment rate for the young veteran is actually a lot higher than their civilian counterpart. And there's a couple reasons for that, Stevie. One is because, again, they spend most of their time overseas, so they can't network and do the things they need to do to try to get themselves into the workforce. Two, it's tough sometimes to translate military skill sets, those hard skill sets, into the civilian sector, the corporate world. And three, a lot of these kids come right out of high school and they join the military, and so they don't have a lot of the education or certifications that they need. And that is, again, why the Walmart offer is so great, because if a kid wants to work part-time, they can utilize those great GI benefits that they have in order to go to school and get some of that skill set they need.
Yeah. And it's certainly easier to get a job once you have a job, too, right?
Exactly. A lot of them went right from high school, their parents, to the military, which the military pretty much tells you what all to do. So they got to kind of learn those soft skills about resume writing and how to interview well, how to dress, all those kinds of things.
Yeah, you never think about that. You see guys as soldiers in uniforms at airports, you up and you thank them, but once the parade and all the ticker tape stuff stops, they're just standing there going, what do I do now?
Exactly. And here's the other thing is that we know that work makes warriors well. And so having a job that you can support your family, or having a job that's like a transition job for you while you go to school or get training or whatever, is very important to the recovery of vets. That's why it's just so critical we get this generation back to work.
And this post-traumatic stress syndrome, I'm sure it's always been around. Were the World War II guys just too tough to talk about it?
Well, the World War II guys, only about a fifth of that force actually saw combat. And their world was different, and it took them about 21 days to get back home from overseas, both the Pacific and the Atlantic. So those guys could sit around, play cards, talk about their issues. Today, a kid can be back in the United States in less than 18 hours.
No.
And so it's just a different. And then again, you talk about the greatest generation. What did they do? They came home and they went to work and they rebuilt America. And it's tough with these economic times that these folks coming back, again, from Iraq and Afghanistan, don't have huge demands on them to get to jobs and to get right back into work because their nation needs them. But their nation does need them.
Well,
again,
we wouldn't have anything we have without the soldier. There's just
absolutely.
We have got, unfortunately, We live in a world where you must defend the freedom and the liberty. If you do not, you lose it, period. I don't think if anybody argues that, we'll just have a disagreement. Listen, the soldier is the one that protects that right and that freedom for you to go out and burn the flag. That's the reason you can do that, because the soldier. Right?
Exactly. Exactly. They defend the Constitution.
They do.
Exactly what they do.
Well, listen, Grace After Fire online is where?
GraceAfterFire.org. Come and visit us and see what we do to help our veterans.
Well, you do great work, Kim. Appreciate all you're
thank
doing.
you, sir.
Thanks so
thank
much.
You.
Appreciate you.
You have a great day.
You too. Kim Olson, Grace After Fire. You can go online, check them out.